Okay, so welcome everybody. Marhaba. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Wednesday. We're joined today by our wonderful partners at WellCare, and we're going to be having a stress management workshop, which I know everybody has definitely had their fair share of stress these days. We are going to be going into stress management, different techniques, and different things that both Maria and Nicole will be sharing with us today. This is part of their virtual health education presentations. And this is also so we can all continue to navigate these stressful and unprecedented times. So thank you to WellCare for offering these presentations and online webinars. And I'd like to introduce our two wonderful speakers with us today. So first off, I'd like to introduce Maria Santos, who is the health educator for WellCare Health Plan. Maria is a dedicated professional who helps people understand the importance of disease management and prevention. Maria is a certified health education specialist, a nationally recognized credential that serves as a measure of ability to meet and excel guidelines and standards of the health education and promotion industry. Maria is an active member of the New Jersey Society of Public Health Education and the American Public Health Association. As a CHES, Maria has also expanded her knowledge by focusing on diabetes educational initiatives. She is a certified peer leader for both the Diabetes Self-Management Program and Diabetes Empowerment Education Program. Maria's working experience includes over 5 years in the managed care organization field and 2 years in federally qualified health centers. Maria's extensive expertise includes working with different populations, including the uninsured, underserved, older adults, and immigrant families. Maria holds a Bachelor of Arts and a Master's in Public Health from Montclair State University. So thank you very much, Maria, for joining us. And joining us as well will be Nicole, who is the Community Relations Health Coordinator at WellCare Health Plans. So thank you very much. We invite everybody to be paying attention and writing their questions in the comments. And take it away. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us. We just want to say thank you that all of you guys are here, taking your time to be with us here today. As Rania said, my name is Nicole Soto. I am a Community Relations Coordinator for WellCare Health Plans, which all of you guys know as Medicaid. My role here is I want to go ahead and give you a little bit of information of what Medicaid is and how we can help you if you do have any information. If you have any information or questions, just go ahead and type it up in the private chat or contact Rania. She has my contact information and we can go ahead and discuss it at a later time, more convenient time for you. So my main role is I help people with recertifications, enrollments, or just questions if you have Medicaid questions. A lot of people are pretty much surprised that they may qualify for Medicaid. So if you feel that you may qualify, like I mentioned before, Rania does have my contact information. WellCare is one of the HMOs, and WellCare is one of the top leading HMOs of New Jersey right now. I'm very proud to work for them. Now, Medicaid's eligibility is based on the household size and your family income or your individual income. There is a chart that New Jersey has that I can go ahead and let you know if you may or may not qualify based on your household size and the income that you're currently making. Before COVID, I would actually be out in the field. I would actually be with you right now, face to face. We would schedule appointments and I would actually help you, walk you through everything online. Unfortunately, now everything is through live stream, which is great. It's fantastic because we have another way of being able to provide that information for you. However, I can go ahead and assist you with questions, whichever way you like, FaceTime, through the phone, through email, whatever way is more convenient for you. If the state does find you eligible for Medicaid, I can go ahead and walk you through the whole application process, answer your questions. If you do have any, we can do the application, determine your family size and the household income. We can also see, because everyone's family and everyone's individual circumstances are different. So we would have to determine whether or not you may qualify. At the end of the day, the state of New Jersey Family Care is the one that determines and makes the final decision on whether or not you are approved. So if you do feel like you may be approved or if you do have any questions, please go ahead and contact me. If anyone here does not have Medicaid or feel like their friends or families may qualify for Medicaid, as you know, due to COVID, a lot of people are losing their jobs and therefore losing their insurance, please reach out to me. I would love to help them. I would love to help as many people as I can. You will have direct access to my mobile number, so you won't have to contact the 1-800 number directly through me, and I can go ahead and assist you in any way possible. So I'm right now going to go ahead and pass the torch along to Maria Santos. She's going to go ahead and do the presentation on stress management. And if you have any questions, Rania has my contact information. Thank you so much for all your time today. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you, Nicole. And also today we have with us Indira Martyr. She is our supervisor for community relations for WellCare. Hi, say hello, Indira. This is a brand new world for us in the live stream area. And especially we're very happy to be with the Palestinian American Community Center today and talking about stress, right? Because this is such a common thing that we hear about every day. We will discuss today, what is the stress? What are your warning signals? What is causing all that stress? Because sometimes we are just too busy and we don't know what's causing all of that stress. We're going to assess the stress levels, and we're also going to hear about some relaxation techniques. But at the same time, we're also going to learn about the benefits of exercise and healthy eating. So I really hope you enjoyed today's presentation, which is more conversational today. So I'm really happy that Nicole and Indira were able to join so that we could keep it conversational and casual. And if you have any questions, just put it on the chat. Another thing, the information that we're presenting today is from 2 booklets that I typically use in the community. So I will be sending those booklets on a PDF format version for you. You could actually email Rania, the organizer of the event, and she will kindly send that out to you on an as-needed basis. So let's talk a little bit about stress. So what is the stress? We hear about this term all the time, and we sometimes tend to think about stress as something negative, right? But one thing that we need to know and really come to terms with is that stress is part of life. It's your body's reaction to change. And this change could be either something negative or it could be something positive as well. It's change, right? So it's really pretty much your body telling you to prepare to act to this new change that you're facing. So stress at the same time causes physical responses in your body. For example, your body releases adrenaline and other chemicals into your blood. Your breathing, your heart rate, and your blood pressure increases. Your muscles become very tense, and also your digestion slows. Your body releases some things that we may be storing for later, like fats and sugars, and it releases it into the bloodstream because it's fueling your body for action. Have you heard about that term fight or flight? Which is something that kind of explains why when we are stressed, we are feeling all of these different changes in our bodies, because our body's preparing us for all of these physical or it's preparing us for these to face these changes through all of these physical responses that sometimes we don't pay attention to. Another thing to keep in mind is that some stress is helpful. Having a little bit of stress in our lives, it's helpful because it gives us that pumped up feeling that we are going to, tackle those challenges and take it one step at a time. But however, unrelieved stress could become a problem. So I want to ask you, and then please feel free to put it on the chat box. Is the stress currently a problem for you? I'm just going to give it a second there and see what our participants say. Okay, so basically, we have to learn how to pay attention to our warning signals or warning signs, because sometimes we may not know that stress is a problem for us until we start feeling the following. So I'm just going to go down the list of some of the things that may happen to you. But keep in mind that some of the symptoms that you may hear now could also have other causes other than stress. But these are just some of the warning signals. For instance, physical, things that you feel in your body. back and neck pain, which is two of the most common ones, right? Headaches, migraines, gastrointestinal problems, your blood pressure going up, changes in your appetite. Have you noticed that sometimes when you're under stress, either you lose your appetite or you start eating more? Some people may even experience chest pain, fatigue. They start feeling very tired. Our heartbeat races. We may have some tension in our muscles, like I said before, with the back and the neck pain from all that muscle tension. We may also feel our jaw clenching, especially when we fall asleep, and then when in the morning when we wake up and we feel like our teeth were grinding, our jaw was clenching. It could have been from all of that stress, right? So those are just some of the physical manifestations of stress. But also too, and I think these are two of the most important things to mention, is that stress not only manifests itself physically through all of these reactions and warning signals, but also too emotionally, and the way that we act and respond to with these changes with others. So these are some of the emotional things that you may feel when you're under a lot of stress. For instance, anger, anxiety, denial of a problem, depression, feeling rejected, worrying frequently, forgetting things, feeling powerless or worthless, getting easily upset, having difficulty making decisions or others, right? So these are some of the things that we may feel, right? Not at the point of like having as a symptom of something physical, but more of how we feel with our emotions, right? Now, this in turn leads to some behavioral changes. So behavioral, it's the way that we act with others. For example, arguing with your partner or your spouse, or lashing out at your children, snapping at people, avoiding tasks and responsibilities, sometimes neglecting our own appearance and our own hygiene. Also to withdrawing from family and friends. Sometimes we just want to be left alone. We want to avoid interaction with people, and especially our loved ones, right? Like our family, our friends. Sometimes too, like I mentioned before, overeating or undereating as a sign of stress. Some people may start increased use of alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs because they are stressed. Some people may tend to cry more easily. Some people may tend to sleep too much or have difficulty concentrating. So these are some of the other things that stress also brings to us. So I want to ask you, from all these factors that I mentioned, from the physical, the emotional, and the behavioral, are there any here that currently are happening to you? If so, let us know in the chat, because this is an inviting space, and this is conversational, and we want to hear how people are doing, right? So these may be signs that you are under a lot of stress.
So someone on Instagram wrote 100% jaw clenching and pushing the tongue towards the roof of their mouth.
Yes, absolutely. And it's something that I actually was experiencing myself, and I didn't know what was happening. And I just realized that I was accumulating a lot of tension in my neck. And so there are something, and we're going to talk about techniques that are going to help us cope with these times and how to become more resilient, especially now with this current climate of COVID and, you know, the whole pandemic and other things going on in the world, right? So now that we have learned some of those signs, what's causing all of that stress? Like I said before, some people don't know. We tend to be very busy, and we are very stressed, and we don't stop to think why we feel that way. So by recognizing the sources of stress, also known as stressors, we may be able to make changes to reduce that stress. But keep in mind that everyone's stressors are different. It's all about perspective. What may be stressful for me may not be stressful to you. So we all have different types of stress in our lives, but there are some categories that are common for everyone. For instance, there are personal, family, social, financial, daily hassles, work-related, environmental, health related, and others. So there are many types of stressors that may be affecting us. And sometimes when people ask you, how are you doing? And you say, I'm doing well, thank you. But in your mind, you're thinking, I'm stressed. I'm just so stressed. And we don't stop to think why and what's causing that stress, right? We just know that the stress is manifesting through physical, emotional, and behavioral signs or symptoms, but we don't know what are the causes. And this is the key part right here of this workshop. It's for you to learn how to identify those stressors that are affecting you. And it's really doing a deep analysis and a self-assessment into what's stressing you out. So let me just mention some of those categories and examples of those categories. For instance, personal stressors. When you have a major personal achievement or failure, like we said, stress could be either something negative or positive, but it could also bring the same type of symptoms to a person. When you have a major change in your living conditions, for instance, now with COVID, I think we are all pretty much in the same boat as far as we have had to make modifications to our home speeds, right? Especially if you're working from home, if you have childcare. So that's considered a major change. Starting or finishing school. For those of you who may be going to college or finishing high school, or if you're an adult that is just trying to get back out there and finishing school, it is something that is very stressful. And let's not forget about our kids that just started school, right, in the middle of a pandemic. So this is something that is really affecting all of us. Sleeping disorders. There is a thing that it's kind of like of a cycle. If you can't sleep because you're too stressed, but then that could also lead to more stress, right? So sleeping disorders is also a thing that will affect you if you have stress, and it kind of like goes on a cycle. Let's talk a little bit about family. So if you are planning, or if you have recently become engaged, or you're planning to have an upcoming marriage, or if there's currently any pregnancies in the family, or adoptions of births of a child, or a recent divorce or breakup, or if there was a death of a spouse or a close family member, or any of the things that may be going on with the family, it's going on a larger scale, to all the members of the family. But who knows if it may be affecting you the most if you're not experiencing that on a personal level, but because of the way that you feel about your family member, right? So you may also be experiencing that yourself, but this is a family stressor, and many others as well. Like parenting, for instance, especially now with this health climate, trying to keeping all the kids occupied, but at the same time trying to take care of the family, right? To be healthy and to thrive through all of this. There are also some social stressors, and I think that with this health climate, a lot of us have experienced those social stressors. Like, for instance, decreasing family gatherings or social gatherings due to social distancing. If you had a vacation in mind for this year, or you were planning to go away somewhere, and now you can't because of COVID, or something major that happened, a major change in social activities or religious services, any of that, it's also something that it may be affecting you on a social level. There are also financial stressors, such as loss of income or reduced income due to retirement, or being on a fixed income, a new mortgage or major loan or rent, growing debts and bills, taxes, and others. Sometimes we just think about that the majority of our stressors come from the financial side, right? But in reality, there's a whole bigger picture. It's just not only that, but there's so many more. And let me just quickly go through some of those other ones. Daily hassles. I think this is my favorite, because we sometimes tend to overstress about little things. With the daily hassles, I think it's one of the things that the day-to-day, we worry the most. Like, for instance, preparing meals. We spend half of our time, of our lifetime, thinking about what we're going to eat. So preparing meals, household chores, running errands, grocery shopping, finding time to exercise. These are all the day-to-day pressures. Before, it was all about traffic and waiting in lines. or a long commute. But I think that now with this climate, we have found that there are many more stressors inside the home when we think about our day-to-day pressures. There are also work-related stressors, such as starting a new career or a new job, losing your job or a job promotion, demotion, transfer, any changes in your job, whether these are good or bad. Time conflict between work and childcare, especially if you're a parent right now in this day and age, and you have to split your time if you're working from home and you also have to take care of your kids. Very challenging. Lack of training at your job place or too much work or increased responsibility is also another stressor. And then last but not least, there are two very special ones: environmental stressors, which include crime, noise, pollution, traffic, weather, overcrowding, especially now during COVID. If you go to a place that you think that you need to go for an essential thing that you need to get, and there's overcrowding. And health related, you may be dealing with chronic pain yourself. You may be dealing with a chronic condition and managing a chronic condition such as asthma, diabetes, arthritis. So you may be dealing yourself with a personal illness, injury, or anything at the moment, or you may be caring for someone who has an illness or injury, such as a close family member or a friend. So these are also some health related stressors. So I went through a whole list of personal, family, social, financial, daily hassles, work-related, environmental, and health-related stressors. So I want to ask you, did any of the ones that I mentioned are a stressor to you? So feel free to type. All right.
So we have a comment on health concerns are a stressor right now.
Yeah, it's a big one. When we need to take care of our health or the health of others in our family, especially now, it is a big stressor to think about. So great. So thank you for participating. I want to show you some relaxation techniques really briefly, because relaxation, really what it is the freedom from tension, from anything that you feel like it's a weight on you, right? But the thing is, with relaxation, it takes practice and a lot of commitment. So practicing relaxation regularly could really help you. It could help you enhance your balance and flexibility, have more energy, have a greater sense of well-being overall, have increased confidence and courage, as well as more motivation, more productivity. So relaxation is really key here, especially if now, after identifying what are your stressors and what are some of those symptoms that you have been manifesting, we are going to look into some relaxation techniques that you could really put into practice and stick to what you think works best for you. But give it a trial first and see if you like it, and then from there you could start practicing relaxation more often. So let's talk about, I have 4 techniques for you. So I have progressive muscle relaxation, which is based on the idea that in order to relax, you need to be aware of how it feels to be tense in the first place. So if you're sitting like me in a comfortable position, I want you to practice with your feet, with your toes. Try curling them up, or with your hand. Try curling your toes, or in this case, the fingers in my hand. Curling it up for 10 seconds. It shouldn't be painful, and it shouldn't feel like it's any pain. It's just tension. We're going to count to 10. And then we're going to release. And then you're going to feel that sensation of being tense and then releasing. So you could practice muscle relaxation with any part of your body. You could start with your feet, your toes, and then move your way up. And then really, like I said, it takes some practice to really master it. If you have a stress ball, you could also practice with a stress ball with your hands. When you're watching TV and commercials, you could also just do a couple of exercises to practice progressive muscle relaxation, and you will see that for some people, it really works to release all of that tension that we tend to accumulate, especially in the neck area and the back, and so on. There is the second technique, which is guided imagery or visualization. It uses mental images or stories to help you relax. It also reduces pain, and you will sleep better. So this is also practice. So think about an image that is pleasant to you. So if you like nature, maybe thinking about um, a landscape of a very nice river with some trees, or if you like the beach, or anything that you think that it's a nice, pleasant image that will bring you some relaxation that you could focus on, or you could create a story that you will think of, kind of like a dream, right? So this is something that you could practice as well. There are many techniques out there, but these are some of the most that are really help with stress. So you could definitely go online and find some ways of helping you with visualization or guided imagery, as well as meditation. So for meditation, it involves calming your thoughts by completely focusing your mind on one thing. So if you are familiar with the term of mindfulness or mindfulness meditation, it really involves on when you're thinking about something, and especially when you're trying to concentrate, you will see that there's a lot of many thoughts are going to come to your mind, and you're going to have such a difficult time to concentrate when all of these things are coming to your mind. But that's the mastering of meditation and mindfulness, is that you have to, yes, be aware that those thoughts are there, acknowledge them, but at the same time, without judgment, try to focus on one thing. It could be a prayer, it could be a word, like for instance, I could say the word peace or relax and just repeat it or focus on that word or that prayer. And it's something that is practiced across many cultures. And it really helps with calming those thoughts and, being aware of all the thoughts in your mind, but at the same time focusing on just one thing. Then we have deep breathing, which is another, it's an excellent technique actually. It could help quiet the mind, relax the body, and eases pain. So the best way to do it is if you're sitting or if you're laying down comfortably, you want to inhale through your nose. And when you do that, when you inhale the air, and then when you release, when you exhale, you will see that there's a movement in your belly, in the belly area. So that's the best way to know if you're doing it and if you're practicing it correctly. Because sometimes when we are a little tense, we tend to hyperventilate, meaning that our breathing is increased and we tend to feel it on our chest. But if we are relaxed, we will see that our belly tends to move when we inhale and when we exhale. The best way to do it is if you observe somebody who's sleeping and you see their belly rising, that's when you see that they are actually having a nice, relaxed breathing. And usually this tends to happen when we're sleeping. But if you want to practice this, obviously during the day, it takes mastering of learning how to breathe correctly, in through your nose, and exhale, you could exhale through your mouth. But make sure that when you're doing this, you are going to feel that the diaphragm, which is the muscle that is here in between the lung area and the belly, that you will feel that this will expand like a balloon. So it's really important to practice deep breathing. All right, so we're running into our last segment, which is the benefits of healthy eating and exercise when it comes to stress. So I'm trying to be very brief. So how does exercise help reduce stress? I think this is a no-brainer, right? Exercise, on top of the fact that it will help you be physically active, relieves muscle tension and pain, lowers blood pressure, improves sleep, protects the immune system. I think this is really vital here, that we need to protect our immune system, because when we are under stress, the immune system response goes down. So it is very important to stay physically active. There are two types of exercise levels. There's the moderate level, which is any activity that you're doing that increases your heart and your breathing rates, but you're still able to carry on a conversation without difficulty. So if I'm jogging or I'm walking, but at the same time, I'm able to talk. Vigorous is any activity that increases your heart and your breathing rates to the point that conversation is difficult or broken, right? So it's like, maybe I'm running like a mile, and then it's like, it's really hard for me to keep up with my conversation at the same time. So those are two different types of exercise, moderate and vigorous. So the recommendation is that you get at least 150 minutes a week of moderate exercise. So that is, if you split it in 5 days, that's 30 minutes a day. Or if you want to do vigorous exercise, that you get at least 75 minutes of vigorous physical activity during the week. But remember, choose activities that you are going to enjoy, that are going to be pleasant for you. And before starting any type of exercise routine or regimen, you may want to first consult it with your healthcare provider before starting an exercise program, especially if you have any pre-existing conditions that may limit your ability to exercise regularly. And last but not least, benefits of healthy eating. When we are under stress, our body needs extra energy. So this is only going to come from nutrient-dense food groups. So we want to make sure that we are choosing a little bit from each food group. For more information on this, you could visit www.choosemyplate.gov, and you will actually see the plate there with each of the food groups. You want to limit sodium and added sugars, because in some people sodium could be a thing that contributes to high blood pressure, and added sugars have no nutritional value, and especially if you have diabetes, you want to avoid having all of that added sugar. So thank you for the link. That was great. That's fantastic. Also, to avoid fast food and junk food. I know that this is great because it makes us feel great and less stressed. But in the end, this tends to be really high in calories, saturated fats, trans fats, cholesterol, sodium, and all of that. That is actually really, that doesn't add any value to our nutritional intake, right? Also, too, you may want to watch your caffeine level. I know this is great because I love coffee, and caffeine is actually a stimulant. So therefore, over 10 ounces of coffee or tea or anything with caffeine a day may result in actual irritability, nervousness, and even poor sleep. So you may want to decrease a little bit of the intake of caffeine, especially if you're under a lot of stress. So that concludes my presentation for today. I hope that you learn a little bit more about stress, which are things that you already knew, I'm sure. And that is just more about bringing awareness to what are some of those stressors that you may be having in your life, and learning how to recognize that, and how to assess, how to do a deep self-assessment, and how to practice some of these relaxation techniques, and going online and looking for these resources, how to practice mindfulness, the breathing techniques. And like I said, we have some handouts that we could send to you through email of those booklets that provided us with all the information that I presented today.
Thank you very much, Nicole, for that. I'm sorry, Maria, for that wonderful presentation. I think we learned a lot of techniques, things to look out for, and specific things that we can incorporate. I want to turn the mic to Indira, who's going to be sharing some resources and information that you guys can all walk away with today.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Again, good evening. Rania, thank you so much for having us. The team and myself, we're very honored. You know, we have a wonderful partnership with all of you at PAC. And I know that a lot of you know Russia. She is out with a little baby that she had, so we'll have her back soon. But in the meantime, Nicole and I and Maria are here, and we're available to assist you all if you have any questions. I just very briefly want to share my screen so that you guys can just have the information for Nicole in case you're interested in having in reaching out to her. If you have any questions, sorry, bear with me. But if you have any questions, just please reach out to her, and her number's on the screen now. Bear with me. I'm having a hard time finding it. Well, anyway, I hope you can see it. But yes, Nicole's email is nicole.soto@wellcare.com. Her phone number is 201-241-9869. So if you have any questions about recertifications, enrollments, any of the information that you heard today, please reach out to her. Again, I want to thank you all for being with us. You have my email there as well if you have any questions. Maria is one of our partners, so you can just reach out to her through us. But we do want to thank you. We hope to be in person with you, have our wonderful events that we always have and sponsor with you in the future. But in the meantime, we will continue to be with you guys along the way in your journey. So thanks for your time. I hope you guys learned something. I know for me, it helps me with the relaxation techniques, definitely during this time of COVID and having the kids at home and work and everything is driving you crazy. It's nice to take a little bit of time to unwind, think of the beach somewhere or, maybe an island or something and just relax. So again,
thank you very
thanks
much,
so much
Indira.
for
It
your
actually
time.
did not share, but whoever wants the information, you can email us at info@paccusa.org and we'll make sure to send it your way. And yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you to WellCare. Thank you to our wonderful partners. We do miss Russia. We hope she's doing well. We hope to see her soon. And we wish you all.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
technically challenged.
It's okay. I think the information got across.
to.
So thank you, everybody. Thank you again to Maria, to Nicole, to Indira for this wonderful presentation, for our partnership with WellCare. We appreciate you all very much. I hope everybody stays safe and healthy, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their evening. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rania.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank